Hello there.
Well, hello there, troopers, and welcome back to General Economics Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on another episode of The High Ground. With me is our partner in crime, Mike from The Dad Vader. What is going on, brother?
What's up, man? How
Welcome,
was
welcome.
how was your day?
Oh man, it was long. It was long. I was just telling Chris here behind stage that I'm gearing up to actually go on vacation, right? And I mean from work. I'm not going anywhere for the first time in years, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually looking forward to it. Um, I'm actually just we're gonna stick around this holiday season here in town. It's the first time we've done that. We've actually never spent holidays here in San Antonio, so yeah, kind of looking forward to it. But what I was gonna say is, so Friday is my last day at work for this year. Actually, I managed to pull in 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks I'm gonna be off.
Very nice. Very nice.
But man, it's like they all just remembered and was like, oh yeah, by the way, I need basically everything I didn't ask for the whole year. So I've just been running around, dude. It's kind of nuts. Today we had our little Christmas, luncheon type of thing because they know people are starting to leave, right? For the rest of the year. And it was good, actually. It was good food and everything, but I didn't win a single thing. There was like 25 winners, bro. I got nothing.
They took your name
No.
out. They're like, your
Yeah,
prize is
like you don't need
vacation.
this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. So I was like, dang, not even stickers, nothing. Dude. But yeah, I am 0 for 3 there. I haven't won anything any year, but yeah. So here we are. One of the last episodes of the year. It kind of feels weird to say, but very much true. So we got what, a couple weeks, just about maybe 3. Let's see. How did these line up? So we got, see, next week, sorry, is the 18th, right? On Wednesday. But then after that, guess what day it is? It's exactly Christmas on
Yep.
Wednesday. So more than likely, we were not gonna have an episode that day. And then after that, it's exactly the first, which is nuts. So crazy, dude. I can't believe it. So here we are, very much in one
Yep.
of the last episodes of the year, episode 93. Kind of crazy, man. We're getting up there. We're getting up there, and thank you, Bunker Bunch, for tuning in as always on this fine Wednesday night. I hope that your day, I hope that half of your week has been going great. I hope that your weekend was awesome, and if not, hey, the next weekend is just around the corner. So
It gets
just
even better.
hold
There's
on tight.
presents coming, right?
Yeah, exactly. No kidding. I'm hoping everybody here returned their $30 ghost and picked up their $15 ghost, because that's what I'm gonna do.
So
Uh
the one that I got was the Target, which I made fun of that they had
oh.
the 25% off, and then Walmart just said, you know what, hold my
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah. No
Um,
kidding, dude.
so when I saw that it dropped to 15,
Yeah.
the wife saw it as well, so she like instantly did the return and purchase. But I was like, if I don't get that ghost, like if it was a mistake on Walmart,
Oh,
like
dude, I
I'll
thought
be
about it.
so mad. But yeah, so
I
that
thought about
situation,
it too.
I've already got the replacement in. It's sitting
Nice.
with the Phantom, which I
Nice.
found. So I'm gonna do an
Perfect.
unboxing with that later. But maybe we could do a look what we found video here. Maybe
Yeah, for sure.
close out the week or something.
Yeah, that'll work. But our guest has been patiently waiting, and lightsaber twirling here in the background. Because that's what he does when he gets bored. And so we are gonna bring in our guest for tonight. One of the best members of this community. I had the pleasure of meeting him in person over at ICCC this year. Um, I like to call him General Grievous just on the account of the amazing collection he's racking up. But we're going to talk about it. So, what do you guys say? And we bring in tonight's guest. We got Captain Chris, the captain of the Nerd Squadron. Welcome, welcome. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Good evening.
Hey. So thank you for joining us here, man. Thank you for accepting our last minute invite. Appreciate you. And yeah, man, we're gonna have fun tonight. we got quite a bit to talk about. All right. But as usual, let me start off by saying hi to the Bunker Bunch. Let's see who's here in the chat because we got some people coming in even right before the stream. So we got Ultra Carter in the house saying, "What is up, everyone?" We got the Dad Vader pulling double duty saying, "Hello there." Ultra Carter say hi to the Dad Vader. We got Sexy Flexi in the house saying, "Hermanos, what is going on, brother? Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you." We got the Bro DeLorean saying, "Hello there." So I actually got to meet Bro DeLorean over in Houston.
He told me.
Yeah, it freaked me out, bro. Because okay, so quick story: we got our setup right, and Daniel from the Legacy Nerd, he's the one that basically brokered, like most of the deal with the showrunner for NostalgiaCon. He helped him out with some stuff. Anyway, he got us, space, like boot space. He basically did everything, dude. I was just there to look pretty, because that's what I do. But what I'm trying to say is that Daniel had a whole team. He had like his cosplay team. He had people, recruiting people to go to his channel, all that stuff, right? And I'm just there, like in between panels at my booth, trying to talk to people and stuff. But whatever, didn't really do a whole lot of PR on my side. And then, so I see this gentleman, and he's just, like in front of the booth. And I think I was talking to Daniel. I'm like, "Hey, man, I think somebody's here to see you." And he goes, "I'm actually here to see you." And he points to me, whoa, what the hell is going on? So freaked me out. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm a friend of Chris and Tony," and I was like, and I'm sorry, he did tell me his name, but I'm like, and then he's like, "The Bro Lord," and I was like, "Yeah, dude." I'm like, "I follow you already." I was like, "Dude, I'm sorry," and I told him, I warned him, I was like, "I might not remember your government name, but I'll remember your handle, like
Yep.
for sure, and I'll remember your face too." Uh, anyway, so it turns out, we said hi, and it turned out he was at SpaceCon. He was at RebelsCon, like he was, in other shows that we've been obviously this year. So appreciate you reaching out, man. Thank you so much. It was awesome to meet you out there. We got
I find that so funny that like a lot of us don't know each other's names. We know the face and our handle, and that's it. Like
just
like
about
we say it every now and again, but for the most part,
That's so normal now.
yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. And like I said, please don't nobody be offended. I absolutely do not mean any sort of offense. By if I don't remember your name, trust me, I know your face. Like Mike is saying, I can almost see your profile picture. Associated with you on your handle, right? But like I said, actual legal name, it's gonna take me a little bit, right? So don't ever take that as a personal thing. It's just kind of the way things work now. We got AC in the house saying, "Hello, General. What's going on, man? Appreciate you, man. Thanks for all the help, by the way, over the weekend." We got Marta in the house saying, "Hi, welcome, Dad Vader, Ultra Flexi Bra." I like that. Ultra Cross says, "Nerds, hi to Nerd Squadron." Flex saying, "Love you, my lady boy." Yeah. We got Chris Mueller in the house saying, "Hey, what's going on, bro? I hope you're enjoying the vacation." We got Luis in the house saying, "Hola, General Kenobi." And we got Nilda, Appetite for Collectibles, in the house. Appreciate you joining. Say, "My three favorite guys are on." Well, if you got time, stop by here and watch us as well. Flex saying, "Oh, wow, Neil, I'm no longer a fave." Ooh, shots fired. Sorry you had to find out that way. Nilda saying, "You're not live streaming." Bam. Rejected. AC says, "Always willing to help, General." Yeah, I do appreciate you, man. You were killing it out there. Bryant in the hound, man. That's wrong. That's funny.
That's funny, that name, that little thing you see it in people's streams whenever Flex is here, or if he's streaming with somebody. No one's gonna understand what that means on the
I
stream
know.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was there, and trust me, it's even better in person. That's all I can tell you. But what are you saying? We get started here, and let me try to do this proper. Hey, I got it. First take. Let's go. All right. So, Chris, you are your fan. You are a collector. Um, You are a great editor, by the way, and yeah,
Just a little bit.
beautiful. And you know, you go to cons and all that stuff. But I kind of want to take it back, you know, all the way back to your secret origin. Let's take it back to the beginning. All right. Do you remember the first time that you watched Star Wars?
Watch Star Wars or became a fan of Star Wars?
Ah, there you go. So what
Because
you're saying
it's
is
crazy. There's a
it,
story behind that.
it didn't hook you from the very first time.
It wasn't a movie that hooked me in the first time.
All right, let's go. So we'll go with the story of how it actually ended up getting you then.
Sometime in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
I was in Disneyland with my family, and I got on this ride called Star Tours.
Oh, nice.
And the entire time I sat there and just thought to myself, this is amazing. What is this?
Right.
I need to throw up. And I'm holding it in as I'm enjoying this, and I'm immersed in this ride, in this world. I have no idea what it is. And so I got off, and then boom, the rest of the day happened at Disneyland. And
Nice.
flash forward to 1999, and then I see Star Wars Phantom Menace. I'm like, that's so similar to what I wrote. And I realized when I was really young, they're the exact same thing.
Nice.
And so I saw Phantom Menace in theaters, and it all started from a ride. So every time I go to Disneyland, I go on Star Tours. I have to throw up, but I still remember that was the ride that just changed everything.
That's awesome, dude.
So Captain Rex will always be your captain.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, seeing him in that same model of droid in Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Right there. I was like,
yeah. Yep.
And it all came back.
That's the beauty of it, right? That's when you know they're doing good. That's awesome, man. I don't think that I've ever known anybody that was, you know, their introduction or their actual, you know, hook into the universe. So Star Tours, that's a new one. That's awesome. Very cool, you know, very OG. This is before Disney actually owned Star Wars, right? That collaboration that they had, you know, going on. So that's very, very cool. So episode 1, you know, the PR machine starts going. Are you in it? You know, are you watching the commercials? Are you buying, you know, some of the toys before the movie? You know, are you getting the Kentucky Fried Chicken cups? You know, all of that good stuff. Or was it just, you know, you just so happen to go to the movies, watch episode 1, and then you're like, okay, now I want everything?
It's funny is I don't have any collectibles from episode 1, but
Oh,
I
really?
do remember going to when I was a kid, my mom would make us go with her to get her nails done.
Right.
And there happened to be a comic book shop right next door, and you go in and I
Nice.
saw all these toys, and it's all Star Wars. And
Nice.
remember those little chips that you would get with it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I actually have one up top that I've
Nice.
saved. I bought online, and I always wanted it, and it was a Darth Maul.
Perfect.
And I never got it because my mom was like, no, it's too expensive. And I was like,
yeah,
you know, mind you, I was like, oh, you just did your nails. You can't buy me a toy. You know? And so as I got older, I was like, I tracked it down, and I found that same one from 1999.
Are you talking about the little comm link where you put it on the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are pretty dope.
Yeah, I found that unopened and I got it.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah. I remember me and my cousins, we were, you know, very much into the toys, right? As toys, you know, as you know, we like the way these characters look and all that. So I was getting a few figures, you know, back then. And I was just saving the little chips because I didn't have the money for the actual reader. The reader was the expensive part, right?
Yeah.
The one that is that gigantic, you know, shaver looking thing, right? And I couldn't afford it. So my cousins were usually way better off than I was. So they got, you know, like 6-7 figures and the reader. And so every time I would go play, I would have mine, but I would have them on like a shoestring, you know, like all like together, so that I wouldn't mix them up with theirs, you know, because to avoid, you know, any issues. And so that's when I'm like, dude, let me use your reader. And I was, you know, putting in like all my chips and actually hearing the voices. I remember I was like, dude, this is the future. Like we just peaked in like toy engineering, you know, like this is it. It doesn't get any better than this. But to your point, and it's funny you mentioned that when so after I saw the movie, right? Actually, before I saw the movie, because you would get the trailers, you would get the scene, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul. Um, I wanted that. I wanted to be able to do that scene. And oh my lord, dude, I could not find a Darth Maul. Same thing, I managed to
It was
find
tough.
Obi-Wan. Yeah, I managed to find Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I could not find Darth Maul like for the longest time. And mind you guys, for those of you watching that weren't, actively buying toys back then, or even alive, back then, this is 99. Uh, there was a lot of toys in the packs. Like episode 1, the machine was turning. Okay, there was no shortage of episode 1 merch. If anything, we were like flooded, right? um, but obviously the action figures were always more popular, and within that, obviously Darth Maul was the one to get. So very, very cool that you actually got it. So you watch episode 1, right? You connect those dots to that magical throw you up ride, in Disney, and you're like, all right, is there more of this, or does somebody tell us like, hey, by the way, there's already 3 made? That's kind of where the Star Tours comes from.
I didn't even know there were 3 made until I saw Attack of the Clones.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I have 10 siblings.
Yikes.
And not one of them watched Star Wars. Not one of them are in the Marvel. Well, now one is,
right.
but the rest of them, they were never into it. So I kind of just sat there wondering. And then when I started like understanding that there was more, because my cousin moved, and he's like, "Yeah, there's more movies of that." I was like, "Shut up, where?"
Give me all of them.
And he had A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi on VHS.
Sweet.
And we sat there and binge watched the entire thing.
Yes.
In one day.
Nice.
Magic.
Yeah. And so I was like, there's no freaking way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, there's more. And then we realized, it's funny going in to watch Revenge of the Sith. I was like, this is where Anakin okay, I get it now. What's connected
now.
So,
yeah.
And then from there, it's just a spiral. Yeah.
That's a very unique perspective you have, because you came in not knowing anything of Vader, and you're catching it like right in the middle, but also old enough to make that connection because you just watched the OG trilogy, to where you're like, as you're watching it, you're like calculating, you're like, wait a minute, like that light bulb clicks. That's pretty crazy, man. That's awesome.
It was just like a chain of events that kept going. It's going from watching I think I may have seen Phantom Menace, then I saw the original trilogy after that, because then me and my cousin went and saw the Attack of the Clones. And at that moment, when I was watching the original trilogy, something in my mind triggered of seeing Darth Vader at Disneyland.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, this is making sense. And then boom, 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 boom. All the connections were happening.
Nice.
And then rewatching Phantom Menace, because for some dumb reason I was watching Phantom Menace. I'm like, so where's Darth Vader?
Right.
Because I remember the name, I remember seeing him, and then I realized Anakin. Okay. And then when they say his name in the original trilogy, I was like, shut your face.
Yeah.
I was looking at my cousin. He was like, right? And I was like, dude, okay, this all makes sense. And then I just remember seeing Attack of the Clones, then I remember watching Revenge of the Sith in theaters at midnight.
Yes. Perfect. So yeah, dude, I miss that so much. Just that whole, midnight madness, right? Of just being miserable for hours just to try to get one of the best spots, in the house, and watching it before
being at the movie theater at like 9 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
9-ish just to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And there's no reserved seating, so sometimes you might be in the front row just like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And I remember seeing cosplayers, and I saw people with lightsabers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Back then it was the Force Effects lightsabers.
Yes.
And then I was like, one day I'm gonna have one of those.
Yeah.
And then it was game over for me.
Yeah. And now look at you. But okay, so dude, 10 siblings, all right? We're talking older and younger, like
I'm the youngest boy.
All right. Okay.
So, going into it, I thought there would have been somebody like, hey man, you want to watch this movie?
Right.
No,
Dang.
it was, I had to find it for myself.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I was gonna say, so did they also go to see episode 1?
Nope. It was me.
No.
It was me and my childhood best friend saw it.
Nice.
And for my birthday, they bought me a Lego Anakin pod racer.
Dope. That's awesome.
That was a long time ago. And at some point between then and maybe 6-7 years later, it went missing. So I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But Lego re-released a newer version of it some time ago.
Right.
That I have. So I rebought it. So now I have it.
Perfect. Dude, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy that out of 10 siblings, you were kind of the only one to catch, get bit by the bug.
And now they ask me questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They'll watch, Mandalorian. Like, so who's this? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have to watch this. And then that's the Clone Wars and Rebels. And like, I'm not going to watch that. So then I have to Google a video that has a recap.
Yeah, they has
all of them. And then like, okay, this makes more sense.
Perfect. Yeah. And you're like, where were you 20 years ago?
Exactly.
Just
so you know, this is your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't know is actually your fault.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. That's awesome. Man, that's crazy. So okay, so your timeline looks very similar to mine, because I came in with episode 1 too, but much like you, I had a cousin 1 year older than I am, and he would
Same.
he knew all about the OT. He was heavy into Indiana Jones. He's the one who actually, like, I always tell him, like, bro, you were like an old soul for movies, dude. Like, I mean, we were 10, 11, however young we were back then. But he already knew like who George Lucas was, like Steven Spielberg, like all of those like classic like 80s movies. He was all into that, dude. So he's the one who taught me about the OT. And same thing, he had the VHS, so we would watch them. But okay, so after episode 1, all right, you're expecting episode 2. You're kind of hanging out with your cousin, you're right, and you're a little bit on this ride together, right? Did you once episode 2 came out, did you go in heavier on the toys that time, or not really?
Oh, I went heavy on the toys before the movie came out.
Okay.
And I'm so dumb for this. I didn't pay attention, but obviously in Return of the Jedi, when Vader gets his hand cut off for the second time, it's robotic, right? And I had an Obi-Wan, my cousin had an Anakin, I had Obi-Wan starship, right? And he had an Anakin, and for some reason his hand comes off with a magnet.
Yeah.
And we're like, why in the hell does his hand come off? Why does Obi-Wan's do that? And I'm looking at it, and he looks at me, and I was like, that's right. Okay. That's right. He does turn into Vader, and okay, that makes more sense. And he still has an Anakin to this day.
Yeah. I think I remember that one. That's the one with the 2 sabers, right? With the 2 color sabers, I think. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and then obviously at ICCC, I found Obi-Wan starship.
I saw that, bro. Yeah, that was a good score.
On the last day.
On the last day, yeah.
Day
and I think it was like your last lap, no? Almost like we were just about wrapping up.
We were about done. And I was it was the very beginning of the day.
Oh yeah, it was in the morning.
Which is so insane because as I was doing my vlog for that, I was rewatching it, and I went and the shots of that booth, and I zoomed in, and you can see it in the background.
Yeah.
And
to be fair,
how did I miss that?
Well, I was literally about to say, to be fair, that booth had a lot of stuff,
Yeah. But it was perfectly eye level to me. So when I walked up, all I did was walk up, and it's right here. I was like, how did I miss that?
So the one we're talking about, for those of you all watching, is the episode 2, the Attack of the Clones version, which, man, I want to say that's just about the first Jedi Starfighter we got, right?
I mean, unless you count the N1 Starfighter.
Yeah, but
you're talking about Jedi Star. Oh,
Jedi
that is the first
Jedi Starfighter.
Starfighter.
I'm pretty sure it was Obi-Wan's from episode 2. So it's the air sprite, like the arrow shape, right? Like the arrow point shaped one. And then so Chris picks that up for a great price. What was that, like $10? Not even.
He wanted 20, but I talked him down to 15.
Yeah. There you go. And so I think you're showing Ricky, right?
Oh my gosh, the story. I cannot believe they did that.
So Chris has his new starfighter, right? His new ship, and he's showing Ricky, and Ricky's like, "Oh, dude, that's dope," and everything. And y'all are in front of man, I'm blanking out of his name.
Me too. That's how much I want to forget about that moment.
It's basically the actor that played the who was the gold leader, I think.
Yes.
So older gentleman, again, original trilogy. Actually, technically, all the way back to the first movie, right? So A New Hope. He's a pilot, and so they're just kind of in his vicinity, right? And Chris is showing Ricky, and as always, Tony, right, Star Wars Sid, just pops in. He's like, "Oh, I have a Plo Koon one that looks just like that one. It's got a button. If you press it, it like explodes." And he presses, and the thing just goes attack like.
And it's not even both sides. The entire thing just falls on the ground.
Exactly. It just goes like everywhere. And so Gold Leader, the actor is just like kind of like laughing in the background, bro, like seeing that little exchange. Oh man.
And I hear the giggling, and I literally just like, I'm like this, and I look down at it, and I hear the giggling, and I look up, I'm like, oh, somebody saw it, and I turn around, and it's him, and I was just like, sure I picked up all 3 pieces, and I walked away. I didn't even try fixing it. Right, I walked away.
Yeah. So I just see Chris holding his things like 3 pieces like that. That was crazy. That was nuts. We got Archer from Nerd Affiliate saying, "What's up, everyone? What's going on, brother? Welcome." Nilda saying, "Just stopping by. Going to sleep. We'll definitely catch this tomorrow. Appreciate you, Nilda. Go get some rest. Thank you for stopping by." Bryant saying, "The OG Star Wars was the sheesh. The marketing back in the day for 1, 2, 3 was mind-blowing. The cups from 7-Eleven, Pizza Hut, Burger King watches, Pepsi cans, the list goes on and on. What a time." Yeah, dude. People think, oh, there's Star Wars everything right now. No, like we were in it, dude.
It was a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was even, there was even Pogs.
Yes.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't know what Pogs are.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, there was everything, man. There was Fritos, the Lay's, they had packaging, for it. Cereal, which I saw 2 boxes over at it wasn't ICC, it was Chicago, Fan Expo Chicago. One of those first booths had a ton of Star Wars. It was almost exclusively Star Wars, and they had sealed, cereal boxes from Episode 2. And dude, I was so tempted, but I'm like, and they were like $10, it's not like they were expensive, but in my mind I was like, I'm gonna put this on my carry-on, and it's gonna get smushed, and I'm gonna feel like crap for destroying something that's been surviving for like 25 years, right, or 22 years, whatever. So I was like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna let them be. I was like, somebody else, hopefully local, pick them up.
I wonder if there's ever been a case of like somebody gets it and they're like, "This is my prized possession," and then on a drunken night they forget and they're just like munching on 30-year-old cereal.
Extra crunchy.
It's just powder at that point. It's just powder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just snort it.
They even had TV guides.
Yes.
Of Phantom Menace, and I actually found 4 of them locally.
No way, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's like in the original bag that it would have been delivered at your house.
Yeah.
I found 4 of them. There's, I believe, 8 total. I kind of want to find the other 4.
I was gonna say, you're halfway there. Dang.
Yeah,
that's dope. Niño Grogu, estoy de cumple con mi hermano gemelo. Saludos, hermano. Feliz cumpleaños. OBP in the house saying hello there, everyone. What's going on, man? So I want to give a shout out to OBP Kenobi Relics. He's actually the one who texted me and is like, "Bro, the Ghost is down to $15 at Walmart." And I said, "Shut up." And he sent me a picture, and I was like, "I hate you," because my $30 one, because my $30 one just shipped this morning, so I can't cancel the order anymore.
Mine's already here.
So I think I sent that to Chris. I was like, "Bro, cancel," and he's like,
"It's already." Yeah, and so I'm like, and I debated, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna order the $15 one, and I might just return the $30 one. I don't know. I got them both right now sitting in the living room. The $15 one showed up yesterday, I think. But yeah, so
Or
again,
just buy the 15-1, save the other one for ICCC next year, bring it with you, and just sell it for the same price you bought it for.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
true.
that's honestly why I'm kind of debating what to do with it, because it's not like people are not gonna want it. It's one of the hottest ones I think in the line so far. It's the biggest one. First of all, it's a very popular ship, obviously, and again,
Very
like
well
I said,
done too. It's
yeah,
pretty solid. Like
yeah,
it's very
yeah,
nice.
it's nice. Have you opened yours,
Nope.
Chris? No, yeah, same
No.
here.
I have that, and I have Ahsoka's T6 I haven't opened yet.
Dude, okay, so I keep going back to that one because it's a great ship, don't get me wrong. I never realized how popular it was, man. It like flew off the shelves, like it
Oh,
was
it's gone.
gone.
It's
Yeah,
gone. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
When I found it at Target a few weeks ago, and I found it, and it was like, oh, in stock, in stock, in stock. And as the weeks went on, it was like 4 in stock, 3 in stock,
Yeah.
2. And finally, it was down to 1, and I was like, damn. And it was on sale at that point, so I went in and bought it and took out the last one from Target.
Nice, nice. Yeah, dude. I got one for our buddy Elijah, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And in my mind, I'm like, maybe I'll pick one up. I was like, maybe not. And I was like, just because of the size, the wingspan is huge. But I was like, man,
Dude,
it's pretty
vertically.
cool.
There's
Yeah.
somebody on Etsy, and the only reason why I haven't opened it yet is I do want to review it.
Uh-huh.
And they sell a 3D printed stand.
Yes.
It goes on it, so you can either have it vertically or horizontally.
Right. And I think Elijah got one for vertically, I think.
I saw his and I almost bought it, but then I saw it was $40 and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I'll pick one up. I was like, I don't know, man, it's still full price and stuff. And then it was just gone. It just sold out. I was like, dang it. So I'm sure, I think
I had PTSD from ICCC
Yeah.
where I was like, you know what? Let me come back. Let me do a lap again, and it's gone.
Gone.
You know what I mean? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy this now.
Bro,
I make the mistake again.
we'll talk about it in a little bit, but people were out to shop. Like people were out to buy at ICCC. They were not messing around, bro.
There was no such thing as window shopping there. It was I am here.
No. Exactly.
I brought X amount of money.
You see it, you want it, boom, gone.
Or everyone had the mindset what they're looking for.
Yeah, very much
for instance,
so, man.
on my mind was I want to see if I can find Obi-Wan Starship.
And sure enough, yeah.
And I finally found it after 3 days. And everybody else all went for
which
the
is
same
funny.
reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much so. For sure. Ultra Carl saying hi to Nerd Affiliated. We got LGP Vintage Toys, Greedy Masters. So I don't know if you'll remember LGP, Chris. He's the one who bought the graded Glasslight R2D2.
I do remember. Yes, I do remember. Yeah,
bro. That's my man right here, LGP, man. Always flexing with the money, but it's all right. I'm not jealous.
Bro, he was buying too. You say people were ICC to buy. That's who was there to buy.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. Like his was probably one of the top tier, pickups that I saw, at least personally, right? Yeah, I remember seeing that from the very first night. The guy who sold it to him, right, had it at his room sale, and I was like, dude, I never even seen that. Okay, I've seen the figure, but I've never seen it like that condition and graded, of course, beautiful, encased, of course, in acrylic, gigantic card, dude. The card is like, it's like rectangle, but the long ways, right? Like the sideways, right? And I'm like, dude, I love that card, dude. Like it's so different, it's unique. And then, a pretty good character, right? With R2D2, the version from Droids. And I remember during the room sales, right, or the lobby sale, and I just walk up to these dudes to say hi, and he's like, bam, like he just has it. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, come on. He's like, yep, had to do it. And I was like, dang, son. Like
they were doing a live at that moment, and I think he came to Tony or Ricky's table, and that's when he told me that he got it, and then he may have showed me that night.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
What a wild night,
dude. Yeah, it's almost like a blur, man. I know. I hear you, because the drinks were expensive. They were good, but they were expensive.
The non-alcoholic Coronas were fire. I'll say that.
There you go. I only had, I think, one actual alcoholic drink, because I was like 20. How much was this? I was like, no, just for mine.
It's a lot.
Just one.
Just one. Yeah. No, it was great. Don't get me wrong, it was a great drink, but I was like, I don't know, $25 a pop. Might have to sip this, very, very
Come to
slowly.
Vegas, dude. Come to Vegas, and
Ah,
you're gonna feel
yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. So OBP says cereal C3POs. I remember eating those ones. Nice, dude. Those like the OGs too. LGP says still have the first Spurs championship Cheerio cereal box sealed.
See, that's
Dang, dude.
crazy.
That's dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
So
I didn't say to have.
so what I was gonna say is LGP is actually or has lived here in San Antonio for quite a few years already. Yeah, he won't let me see his collection though. It's okay. We got Evan in the house saying, "Oh snap, Chris in the house. Welcome, brother. What's up, man? Sup, everyone, and daddy." Hiya, Evan says OBP. Sup, Peter says Evan. I better say, hey, the children hater. Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, JK, but not really. There's gonna be merch. So
There will be.
we got, hey, what is going on, brother? Sleeping Collectibles in the house. Hey there, guys. What's up, man? So good to see you, man. I hope you're doing great. Appreciate you stopping by, dude. Ultra Car saying hi to Sleeping Collectibles. Sleeping Collectibles saying howdy. What's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Okay, so how how heavy would you say you went into the toys, for episode 2? Would you say that's when you were like, okay, I'm buying almost everything, or not quite yet?
I don't want to say too heavy. Maybe a few droids for sure. That Obi-Wan for sure. His starship. What was I? Sixth grade, seventh grade when that came out.
Let's say you were still pretty young, right?
I'm trying to remember. How old I was, but at the time, I was buying all my toys off of my allowance I was getting from my mom every week. So that was the only way I can get it. So
yeah, for sure.
And I remember it was me and my cousin, and it's just like, hey man, either we got maybe $10, $20 for the week. This is for lunch at school. It's either we're gonna eat at lunch, or we're gonna starve at school so we can go back to Target.
Yes.
So we went back to Target.
I was gonna say,
this is the way.
Yeah, this is the way for sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome.
The sacrifices we had to make back then.
Yeah, very much so, man. Very much so. And I think, I mean, obviously with Star Wars, right, for us, but just in general, for us toy collectors, or replicas collectors, that's where it takes us back to, right? Like, I was like, man, yeah, now this figure is $25, is $50. I can easily afford it, right? Back then it was $5 to $6, and the hoops and loops we had to jump through, to get them. So that's always gonna be, the good stuff, right? That's always gonna take you back to, like, dang, man, like you said, I remember that, I had to skip, 2-3 lunches, to get this figure. Or I had to, mow lawn, or I had to, promise I was gonna get straight A's, or like, so you think back to your investment, right? That figure represented for you.
I was mowing my neighbor's lawn.
There you go. Yeah.
And then I don't remember how much she was paying me, and then she was like, "Hey, I can pay you double if you could do my backyard." I was like, oh, "That's a toy."
Yes,
done,
exactly.
And back then, me and my cousin we were taking the bus, the city bus. So back then it was 60 cents one way and $1.20 for an all-day pass. Right. So you had to add that to your budget.
Yeah, of course. There you go.
So you add that $1.20.
Yeah.
And then there was a Walmart, and connected to the Walmart was a McDonald's. I'm like, oh, all right, there's a $1 menu. All right. Yeah. So fries, a hot and spicy, and a soda was $3 plus tax. So you add that, So that's literally our mindset, is exactly what we were doing.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's you bring something, funny, because people are like, oh, let's just go to McDonald's and get something for the dollar menu. Just FYI, there's no such thing as a dollar menu anymore. Okay. Nothing is $1. I don't even know if you can get something under $2. I think there's something.
I don't think so. It may. But, it might be under $2, like $1.
Yeah, but like $1. Yeah, like $1.75 probably by this point. So pretty far off from a single dollar. But anyway, you reminded me when you said that. So
good days.
Yeah. So episode 2, you're all geared up, right? Like, you're like, you know what? I'm in it. I've seen the original trilogy. I saw episode 1. I got some of the toys. I'm ready. Did you guys get to do, because you were still pretty young. So I'm kind of assuming you didn't get to do the midnight release for episode
Oh,
2.
we did.
Nice.
We still
My
made it.
man.
I mean, our parents thought we were sleeping. We weren't.
Yeah.
Take the bus, and we made it to the thing about here in Vegas. Now it's not as bad as it used to be, but back then every movie theater was inside of a casino.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
the trick my parents would do is like, we'll take you to the movies,
Yeah.
but you guys have to wait in this corner for like 30 minutes, and they would go gamble.
Nice.
That was the trick, right? And that's how they did
Yeah.
it. So at the time, we took the bus, so we made it. We saw the movie, came home at like 4.
Nice.
And then woke up about 3 hours later to go to school.
Yeah, I was gonna say go to school. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Talking about sacrifices, man.
Worth it though.
Definitely.
Oh
yeah,
100%. 100%, dude. I still gives me chills to think about the first time I saw Yoda fighting, in episode 2. Oh my lord.
Oh, that's why I got his lightsaber.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, I need
Very
it. I
much
need it for
so.
that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of going into your background of the movies, when you finally got to the age where, and basically the technology has grown to lightsabers like you got in the background, was there one lightsaber specifically from the episode 1, maybe episode 2, that you're like, I have to have this, like this is going to be the staple of the collection? Yeah.
Maul.
I've noticed that a lot of
Yeah.
the we're going to call you younger. You're in the younger crowd. That Maul, and I'm as from watching it from the OG. Like I started very young watching it, but when I saw the double blade come out,
Oh, dude.
mind blown, and I was like, one day I will own one. But yeah,
And the crazy thing is, back then it was it wasn't Black Series.
No.
It was the Master Replica.
Master Replica.
Yeah,
Master Replica FX lightsabers.
Yeah.
You cannot find Maul anywhere. That was gone.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, they had available was Luke, Vader, and if you got lucky, you could find a Yoda. That's
Right.
it.
Right. So I want to pull up here because we're talking about lightsabers, and we'll divert to that. So these two designs, the Count Dooku, man, that still, is near and dear to my heart, from episode 2, right? And they kind of pulled it up on me again last year with Tales of the Jedi.
The Jedi version.
The Jedi version, man. Oh my lord. Oh, I knew it. Here we go.
Are you talking about this
Yes, exactly, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
I
I
have that
love
one.
that thing.
His Jedi one and his Sith one.
And the Sith one, yeah. But I don't know, man. The Jedi, well, both of them have just this like elegance to them, right? And it was the first time, seeing a curved handle, and then his fighting style, is like so precise, so elegant at the same time. Oh man, I love that. That handle has got to be, one of my favorite ones. Like, period.
That one that I have is heavy. It's chrome brass.
Wow, dang,
It's heavy. It's
Nice.
a heavy one.
Yeah. So speaking of, episode 2, here it is. Yoda's lightsaber, which also debuted on episode 2, and Count Dooku's, right? So 2 very, very famous sabers. Again, I'm sorry, but I still, for me, hands down, Count Dooku's design is the one to go with. Yoda's, always thought they could have done a little bit more. How do you
More
call it?
bling, more bling to it.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit more intricacy, right? Like to it. And I'm not even talking about like over the top. I'm just saying like how do you call it? Like some sort of pattern or something like that, like in the handle, right? I mean, the he's been using it for who knows how long, right? Like I would think you start
Well, we assume that that's the one that he started. Maybe he may have been in his teenage years. It lasts about 300 years. He may have had a more flashy one. And now
for
that he's
sure.
older
Yeah.
master, he's like, nah, just give me the basic, whatever you
Give me
got.
the basic one. Yeah. It's like I don't even
Well,
use it anymore.
The interesting thing about Yoda is the original design of his lightsaber actually also came from a flash gun.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm wondering, they did that for Luke and Vader, and they used that for them. I'm wondering if that's the route they went with Yoda. It's like, we still have this flash gun that we haven't used for our character.
Yeah.
It is much smaller.
True.
Maybe we can use that for Yoda because it's so small.
Right. Yeah. So that's actually a good point. Maybe that's their way of linking to the OG lightsabers, right? They're like, you know what? Yoda is an OG character, so we kind of have to give it the same treatment. So let's just dive into that, man. So when do you think you're like, you know what? I really like to collect lightsabers.
2007.
Nice. I like it. No
Yeah.
hesitation. Know exactly what we're talking about.
Do you remember Sharper Image?
Yeah.
store?
Yeah. It's funny you
They-
say that because I was literally trying to explain to my wife what that was. Like when was it? Was it this weekend? I think it was last weekend. Anyway, and I was like, yeah, it was this thing, this like store. They had all kinds of cool stuff that I couldn't afford back then.
Massage chairs for
Yeah,
$5,000.
exactly. Yeah. But I was always into the little like tech knickknacks type of thing. Like this is dumb. I 100% agree. But they had this like battery organizer, dude, that I always wanted as a kid.
I have
Don't
one of
ask
those.
me why. And I remember looking at that thing. I was like, this thing exists, like something to keep all my batteries by size, and it came with a little tester to say, if it was good or bad. I was like, oh my lord, dude, like I need this in my life. And then I saw the tag. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like my dad will smack me if he finds out I spent this much on this. But
That's
but anyway,
that's where it
sorry.
started though, because I used to. Okay, this is gonna take me back. I used to work at a Hollister,
Okay, yeah.
and back then it was like $6 an hour. So
Yeah.
when you had, and there the most amount of hours they gave you is 5 hours. So
Wow.
take $6 for 5 hours, and
Right.
then there was a Sharper Image right across. And every day I went in there and they had the lightsabers that I would turn them on every
Nice.
single time. I can't even tell you how long it took for me, but I saved my entire paycheck to
Yeah.
buy Luke's lightsaber from over there, and I still have it.
Perfect. I was
Nice.
just gonna ask. I was literally about to ask. So we're talking about the master replicas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the master replicas. I have the Vader actually for that one. I got that as a birthday gift from like 7 friends that pulled in, all of them pulled in like some cash. This is back in like
And back then, so they put cash for $150 lightsaber.
Yeah.
Back then, $150 is still a lot. I mean, now
No, that
it's
was-
still a lot. But
Yeah.
think about back then, it was still a lot.
Oh no, for sure. Like they had to plan it out. I mean, mind you, we were all in college, so money was pretty tight for everybody all around. So I still have that one, which I need to like start displaying them, by the way. But yeah, so that's I remember seeing them. This one was at it wasn't Sharper Image. It was oh man, what was it?
Brookstone?
No, it was
Because Brookstone was the other one that was just like it.
Yeah. It was something like a Hastings. Because I remember they had a bunch of books and music and stuff like that. And I distinctly remember because they had him all the way up, dude, on the counter, where the cashiers were, but literally like all the way up there. Like, you don't touch this. Like, you just get to look at it from afar. So it was dope. So, man, all right. So Luke's lightsaber was your first one.
Yeah. And after that, I tried finding Maul. And I never found it.
Couldn't find it. Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
now they go for a lot of money, which is insane.
They do. Yeah, they really do. And I actually want to buy, I'm sure you've seen it, but they're master replicas, but they're the miniature ones.
I've seen the quarter scale, I think.
Yeah, I think they're about quarter scale. So I have one for Obi-Wan, and I want to track down them all, and probably these guys here. I definitely want the Dooku, but they're actually pretty well, put together. They're pretty nice. So how long did it go from Luke Saber to what was your next one? Do you remember?
It's like Pringles. Once you pop, just can't stop. So
well, actually, if you want to start the very first lightsaber, let's see if it even counts. The ones at Disneyland, the ones that you
the telescopic.
But back then they weren't solid color. They were like pink, white,
rainbow,
orange,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So technically that's my first one. And then
that was like me and my little brother, we would go to Disney World, and like 1 year he got one, the next one I was like, I gotta get one, so now we can fight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I remember before Revenge of the Sith came out, I bought one of those other ones, but it was a Vader one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to dumb it. I was like, I want to hang it on my belt. So I cut off the tube. Right. And I was like, yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted. And then I realized, damn, I can't even use it.
Yeah.
So then when I got Luke's, I ended, and honestly, it was a few years until I started buying more. There's a bunch of different saber companies.
Yeah.
And there's one that's been going for a long time. It's just technology, and it is so outdated, and they're still doing the same technology. So from there, I migrated to higher end lightsabers and higher end saber makers. And
Okay.
a lot of people don't know that sabers between movies changed so much.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like Dooku, that you saw right
Sure.
there, that was actually episode 3.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is the elbow. That chrome elbow that's right there.
Right.
Technically, it's like a matte. I have that one here. I changed it out already. But
Nice.
they all changed. And once they changed, then you're like, damn, now I need that one.
Of course.
Come on,
So
now. It was a long time. I did not start buying lightsabers until I was about 25. So about 10 years ago. And then from there, it got worse and then worse.
It just kind of, yeah. Very much so.
And still going.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So I first of all, guys, go check out Chris here on Instagram. This is what his page looks like right there, Nerd Squadron. Also, just in case you haven't noticed, but his links are actually in the description of this video already. So go check out his Instagram. Go check out his YouTube as well. All right. Trust me, guys, you will not be disappointed. This man reviews lightsabers like nobody's business. So okay, so we're gonna I want to touch briefly on this great story. Yeah, that little guy. I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, that's me. The little one, that's me.
Not even, dude. He's not that tall either.
A little bit taller than me.
Yeah, but so all right, so you want to walk us through this story?
Oh man,
over at ICC.
That's my highlight from ICC.
Yeah, dude. That's I always keep telling like everybody when I talk about ICC, I'm like, dude, Chris won, the story game. Like he came out on top, But
I was even trying too. I was more nervous. If anything.
That's what I was gonna say. It just worked out organically, which is even better, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got the photos that I wanted, and I got the stuff I wanted, and it just happened to be I think the second to last day, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And I walked up to his table and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this picture. I'm gonna get this picture because who's gonna say they took a picture with Dennis Lawson, right?
Yeah.
And so I walked up and his assistant was there, and I kind of just mentioned, on the schedule for ICC, it shows that he's on the schedule, but on his personal schedule, it doesn't show he's on there.
Yeah, mind you, and this is for the official photo op, from the con. So you could go to his table and have like a cell phone picture with him, right? Like
boot selfie type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like thing, right? So that's what it means on the page, on the official page. Dennis was on the schedule for this, right? For the actual, pro photo op, right? Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, but his assistant was just like, "Well, and I'm not really too sure." And at that moment, Dennis walks up and he goes, "What's going on? What did I miss?" And she explained it to him, the situation. And I did miss his photo op the day before, and I did mention that to her. So she told him, "Oh, this gentleman just wanted to know if you're doing photo ops again. He missed it from yesterday, but you're not showing on the schedule." And then he just says, "Was that room available now?" And then she goes, "Yeah, it's empty right now." He goes, "Let's go do it right now." And I'm sitting there at this moment. I'm like, "Oh, I'm that guy." And I didn't want to be that guy. So at that moment, I told him, I was like, "You know what? We're good. It's okay. I don't have to." He goes, "Oh no, the nonsense." Puts his arm around me, and we walk all the way to the photo op together. And ICCC is a small con, but when you're there and you think of how far his booth is to that room, we take a photo. It's far.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It's far.
So so the breakdown of the I guess the setup was inside the bigger, what would you call that, like event area, right?
Yeah,
that's
the showroom, I guess.
The showroom, yeah, exactly. That's where the vendors are, right? Like the little stores and all that stuff. But also some of the guests, actually most of the guests were in there, kind of like lining up against the walls, so they were like a bit on the outer edges. Dennis was all the way to the back and almost to a corner, right? Like
just about.
Just
he's
about,
at the third or fourth to last.
Yeah, exactly.
The corner.
Yeah, so he was, like tucked in all the way back there. The photo booth, right, or the photo setup, is when you exit that showroom, there's a long hallway, and you go into yet another, like maybe like a conference room type of thing, right? And that's where they got the setup, with the printers and the camera and all that stuff. So they literally walk, all the cross of the showroom. They crossed pretty much the whole convention, right, to get to the photo booth. And so I think it was George, right, who saw you.
That was kind of the icing on the cake, because it's
Yeah.
hilarious. Because prior to me going back to his desk, we were waiting for our photos with Mr. Lando Calrissian.
Yep.
Yep. And I was like, maybe I can sneak a photo really quick with Dennis. So before doing that, George and I were sitting on the floor because we're exhausted.
Yeah.
Like our feet hurt, our knees hurt, and we're just, let's just sit on the floor. So we sit down. That's when I decided to get up, and I walked over. So as we're walking up, George is just on his phone like this, looks up to me, and he goes,
yeah, exactly.
how? And he just lips the words "how," like,
yeah.
And I look at him, like,
yeah,
I don't know what to do. And then we walk out, and then I came back out, and he goes, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I have to tell you this whole story.
Yeah.
And then, and I think at that moment, not long after that, Tony came up.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "What happened?" Because he saw the way me and George were talking, and then I told him everything.
Exactly. So yeah, dude, this was a big freaking win, man. One of the best highlights, I think. Like I said, at the con. Dennis, by the way, he's amazing. Like, he was super sweet, super courteous. Loved the guy. Like, he could not be nicer. And then, just to cover it, but what you were talking about, you did get the, one of the OGs, right, too. So
had to.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there was another thing that happened in that moment. Is after that photo, Dennis had
Mhm.
stayed in that room just for a few minutes, and I actually sat back down with George.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it was in my head. I went on Disney Plus, and I played that one scene where Lando was flying in with the Falcon, and then he's fighting, right? And then all of a sudden you hear Dennis he goes, "Nice shooting, Lando," right? And
Yeah.
at that moment he says, "Nice shooting." Dennis walks right in front of me.
Nice.
And we make eye contact. So I'm literally like, phone up, and he hears it, and he just gives me a wink and kept walking. And then I looked at George, I was like, "Dude," and he goes, "That was awesome."
Yeah. So we're basically best friends now, is what we're
pretty
trying
much.
to say. Yeah. That's absolutely awesome, dude. But yeah, man. So okay, so when did you more or less decide, you know what? I also kind of want to do, reviews, right? I want to post, start sharing some of this stuff, for your love for lightsabers, right? Did that come first, or did the YouTube come first, and you're like, all right, now that I have a channel, I got to fill it up with something?
The channel started out with something else very small, just to test and see if I could even do it. And then it kind of evolve into a couple lightsabers just to see again if I could do it.
Right.
But it started in 2019 originally.
Nice.
And I'm that type of person that I cannot film if somebody's home. Okay, because I'm gonna mess up a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I can't focus. So pandemic hits, everybody's home.
Yep.
I didn't film a thing. 2021 came, and then then I had some more time to myself. Just a little bit, and I was like, okay, let's do a little bit more here and there whenever I get a chance. 2022 comes, and I was like, all right, let's seriously just start doing it. And that's when I really started buying more and understanding the difference between the lightsabers and what companies there are and where to buy from, where not to buy from. And it's crazy because there's so much to lightsabers. It's crazy to say that there's so much to lightsabers, of where to buy, how to buy, materials, accuracy, that it's just,
the industry definitely exploded.
It's massive.
Yeah,
it's insane. And that's why, and like some of my videos, I try to be as detailed as possible, but
you are, man.
But then I don't want to be, because the video becomes, let me see that one right there, almost 30 minutes. And I try to break it down to where it's not 30 minutes, but there's so much to explain.
There is.
That you just can't do it in 15 minutes.
No, I hear you. And again, guys, for everybody that is watching us here, that's the perfect pause, by the way. Look at those beautiful lips right there.
Oh yeah.
For anybody that's watching us here, guys, like definitely go check out the Nerd Squadron here on YouTube. And I just want to show, kind of like the type of stuff. So first of all, just the unboxing experience. You go with this one. Actually, it's actually a nice box, with it. But Chris will go, like I said, heavy into the details. Check that.
That's the best part of Acolyte was that character. Just saying.
No, I totally agree with
Definitely.
you. But then he goes into the actual teardown, of the insides. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. So showing some of the electronics, the batteries, assembly, setup, modifications, setting up your fonts, like all of that stuff, guys. So seriously, it's a freaking encyclopedia when it comes to lightsabers. So do yourself a favor if you're even thinking about getting into this specific part of the hobby. You owe it to yourself. You gotta check out the Nerd Squadron.
Don't do it. Don't buy it. Because you're gonna just keep buying. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, dude, it seriously, the one that got me was when you stepped in here on our open mic night and you were showing us that
Obi-Wan.
Dude, that internal Obi-Wan with the kyber crystal. Oh my lord, that blew my mind, dude. I still think about it, dude. It's so freaking gorgeous.
I have yet to review it because I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you on that one. Look at that background, bro.
Oh, it's changing more and more.
Oh, I bet.
I'm not allowed to expand into this room. So what I said is, if I can't expand, I'll just go higher.
There you go. Smart.
So that's
very, very smart.
to do.
Don't forget the ceiling. You can definitely use the ceiling.
I was thinking about it. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Anchor bolts.
Yeah. There you go. So, what I was going to say is, what's your next one? What's next for the collection here? Anything that
there's a couple. There's a
Master Soul.
Yeah.
I was just gonna start naming off everybody from.
So here's the hard part. All right.
Acolyte.
So and I'm not gonna tell everyone to do this because it's also risky. There are Facebook groups who sell lightsabers.
Sure.
And how do I start? All right. So a lot of these are higher end ones, so they're pretty expensive. And so when you buy it from Facebook, you're taking that risk, but there's also like the PayPal, business to business, you can get your money back, right?
Yeah.
And so, like for instance, this one here is Sabine's from the Ahsoka series, and this guy was selling it. It's empty, so when you say empty, there's no electronics in it. But it can be installed with the electronics,
right? And
he was selling it for a great deal with all the electronics separately, so you have to install it yourself, which luckily I know how to do.
You do, yeah.
That gets very expensive. If you're buying a lightsaber for $250, installation for that could be $450, depending on the amount of labor that goes into it. Yikes. And so I save a lot of money doing it myself. Smart. I saw his location and it said Vegas.
Oh.
And I immediately messaged him and I wanted it. So something of value, everything there should have been $340. I got for $215.
Dang, dude, that's nuts.
It's a good deal.
So stuff like that, like you can buy it from different stores, you can buy it from different vendors. It's just as long as you know the right vendors to go to.
Yeah.
Because that's the scary part. You're going to put so much money into buying something that's installed with electronics and you might get burned.
Sure.
And so that's the hard part about lightsabers right now. There's so many companies. It's just who to go to.
Very true. Very true. And like we've talked about this before, right? But it's because people that I talk to that are not necessarily, fans of Star Wars, they're like, oh, this lightsaber is cool. Like, I didn't realize like so many companies are making lightsabers now. I'm like, technically, no, actually making, the cases and the electronics and stuff. There's not that many companies. Like you're kind of paying for the distribution and the name.
You pay for the name, yeah.
Yeah, and the sometimes a little bit of like the customer service, right? Like because if you depending on who you buy from here in the States, so there's a lot of information out there, guys. I'm definitely not gonna claim to be any sort of not even knowledgeable person about it, but who is our good friend Chris right here. Okay, Nerd Squadron. So once again, guys, hit him up on Instagram. If you got a question, he's always willing to help. Check out his videos. That you're gonna learn. Trust me, you're gonna learn so much with just one video that you watch from him. He does such a great job of explaining everything there is to know. And I do want to say, and like Chris mentioned, these things are not cheap. Okay, so if you're thinking about it, I would definitely check out some of his reviews, some of his videos, of something similar or maybe made by the same company. And that's going to give you a pretty good idea of what you're kind of getting into, right? Like, where's your money going? Is it worth it? All of that good stuff. So again, if you're even thinking about, jumping into this kind of collecting, you gotta check out Nerd Squadron. So
I've had people message me on Instagram, and I've never minded talking about it, because you can buy something for $600 and get burned.
Oh yeah.
And that's not what I want for anybody, because at the end of the day, when you're jumping into this new hobby and you spend so much money on your first one, and then your experience is terrible, it's gonna ruin the whole thing for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
If someone goes, "Oh, I had this life, so you want to buy it?" No, last time I tried to buy one, this happened, and now their experience is ruined.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's a couple of things too that like a lot of people don't even think about. Like, what's your intention with this lightsaber? Are you gonna try to spin? Are you going to use it for actually dueling? Is it just a display piece? There's so many variables that go into it. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about this. I actually referred a mom to your page to go take a look and do some research because she wanted to buy a gift for her husband. And I was like, I don't know what he would like. I like having a mix of both type of sabers because I'll go swing and drop one. And she's like, well, he just wants it for the office. I'm like, well, then there's some really great display ones that necessarily you don't have to get the electronics. And she's like, oh, there's electronics in them. I'm like, yeah, you need to go watch this guy's video. He'll tell you everything about it. So, I mean, what you're doing is like incredible. Like, it's your passion. And then you're also doing a service to the fans out there by helping us learn. So bravo to you, sir. Bravo.
I try to. Absolutely. I'm not gonna when I was at ICCC, there was those two saber vendors. I was kind of talking to them for a little bit.
Sure.
Just to see where their mindset was. I was like, oh, okay, you're one of those. Got it.
Have you met some of those that are just like, we're here to make that buck and get out? Like,
unfortunately, I've met those. They're out there. I've met those, and they are out there, and there's very few who are so good. I have my top. When it comes to more budget friendly, when I say budget, $100 to $300, top 3. I'm like, go there. And if you want to use my code, go for it. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. But go there, because that's where you'll get the best experience. I promise you that. And then if you want to go more higher end, I'm like, okay, go this way. Yeah.
There you go, guys. So once again, please do yourself a favor. Go check out Nerd Squadron over here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. Let me catch up with some of the chat, and then it might be time to start jumping onto a little show that's been going on.
I love
over
on
Disney
so
Plus. LGP saying it was great meeting you, Nerd Squadron. Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.
Same.
OBP says, didn't hear what Obi-Wan ship did Chris get. So he got the original Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter from Episode 2. That was what 2002, right?
Yeah,
I want to say he got that one at ICCC.
Unfortunately, it was a build-a-one. It came in 3 parts. He had to build it.
Some assembly required, Thanks to Tony, by the way. Bro Loading saying, I know that one. Chrome-plated brass sealed feel the best. Love the weight. There you go. Nice. Real Life Perspective Show in the house saying, hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Appreciate you joining, man. Thank you. Ultracar says, all right, I got to go now. I did follow you, Nerd Squadron. See you guys next time. Appreciate you, Ultracardo. Thank you for always being here, man. Thank you so much. We got Jeff in the house saying hello there. What's going on, Jeff? Dad Vader pulling double duty here. Jeff saying, what's the best New Hope Luke saver you can... Oh, what's the best a New Hope Luke saver you can get right now? Most accurate to first one you see.
Okay, so there is... You can put electronics in it. It's just, it gets difficult to do and it gets pricey. The most accurate, there is a company out there, it's called Roman Props. And that's probably right now going to be the most accurate Graflex you can get, whether it's from a New Hope or Empire Strikes Back, or even if it's the one used in The Force Awakens. And the reason why I choose him is because a lot of people don't know this. His props of the graphics that he makes was used in The Force Awakens.
Dang.
So if it's good enough for Lucasfilm to use in their movie from his props, it's good enough for you to use for something as accurate as that. It is installable. It's just not it's not the most easiest, and it's going to be probably one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah, I bet. He did say sorry that he doesn't have to be dueling. I think you
If
got your answer, Jeff.
Yeah, and Jeff has an amazing room too. So if he's
he does.
Yep, he knows about it. See,
there you go.
So exactly, that's the best person. And the way I see it is, if Lucasfilms reached out to him and said, "Listen, we want one of those. We want to use that for the prop in the sequels. We want to use it. We're going to use your product.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Lucasfilm, it's going to be good enough for us."
I hear you. Very true. Very true. So there you go, Jeff. Let me know when you get it. I want to see it.
Me too. I want to know, and I want one too. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Frankie in the house saying, "Damn, Jeff, you jumping in all streamer bets? Yeah, man. Jeff's the man."
Frankie, this one's the dirtiest though.
Right. Exactly. Frankie dropping Nerd Squadron's YouTube channel. And again, guys, the links are here already in the description of the live stream here on YouTube. So all you got to do is click on it, hit that follow, hit that subscribe. OBP says, I bought my first custom saber from Theory Sabers. Buy one, get a mystery saber sale. Then Negotiator 3, Obi-Wan from episode 3. Nice, dude. Yeah. That was a good deal.
I mean, it's a nice one too.
It's a nice one, yeah. That was I remember that. That was over on Black Friday, right? When they had that
buy one get one free thing.
Buy one get one. Yeah.
Has he got it yet? I wonder what his mystery one was.
Yeah, good point. OBP,
good point.
Did you get your mystery one already? Jeff saying, "Oh, jumped up." Brian saying, "Hands down, my favorite saber is Episode 4, Obi-Wan by Master Replicas." I'm assuming.
Yeah. So
nice.
Quick thing: Roman Props also makes that saber too.
Damn.
So again, if it comes down to accuracy, as of now, that's still my favorite one. But that one sells out like that.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I bet. All right, guys. So yesterday we did get a new episode Skeleton Crew. So let's do.
Just popped in my head real quick before we jump to it.
Yeah.
So Chris, real quick. So when you're looking at your lightsabers, right? Are you nice and clean, or do you like the weathered look?
Oh, it depends. It depends on if it was weathered at any point in video games or in the movie. Now, we never see up close shots of them in like Revenge of the Sith, right? But when you do see them, they're super shiny and they're super clean. So I keep those as clean. I go with a microfiber cloth and I clean them even if they're already clean.
Nice.
But if we're talking about, let's say, video game Cal Kestis, in the first game, it's weathered.
Yeah.
It's broken. I keep that. Obviously, Obi-Wan's from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, weathered.
Yeah.
I have them all. I would say it's kind of weathered. In the movie, it was kind of dark, so I got it weathered. So Kylo's is weathered. So it depends. If it's supposed to be weathered in the movies, then I get it weathered.
Nice. So you go more for accuracy more than the aesthetic of it, you know?
Yeah, as much as possible. I would say so.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's a purist right there. I like it.
Yep.
I like it, man. So, actually, I had a question now. Do you know how many lightsabers you got?
Like how he has to look and be like, this many.
Yes.
$36. Oh, 37.
Dang.
Don't forget the one by the nightstand for your security. There's probably one there.
Don't forget the ankle one.
Wait, is there one up here?
The ankle one.
There is one over here though. I have a Black Series Vader, so 38.
Nice, man. That's beautiful.
Too many.
I don't know about that. I don't know that you can have too many. Yeah, absolutely, man. And we keep getting shows and things like that, right? So you know.
No, I missed one. Chimeras.
Oh, there you go.
I have it up there. Yeah.
That still only counts as one though, even though it splits up.
That's true.
Yeah, it's awesome. Um, all right, so let's do. What do you guys say? We do a very quick review of yesterday's episode. We'll go through it here quickly. Um, so we had another longish episode, right? Yesterday, over 30 minutes. Well, this thing says 39, but that's with credits and stuff. So I think we're just at. Come on, we are just at 30, 33, 34 minutes. So pretty decent, pretty decent. Better than the 20. What was it? 22, 23 we got before.
The second episode was shorter, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So we got, see, so we do get another shot, of the Truman planet, and same thing. It looks it still looks kind of creepy. So um, I want to point out that uh, Mike and I did a quick prediction, list of things we thought was going to happen on this episode yesterday, just before the episode dropped. And um, let me see if I can show it here. Oh, come on. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. All right. So this was the list that we wrote yesterday. Again, like 20 minutes before the episode started. So um, our predictions were that we're gonna see a force, push, or pull, no Jedi mind trick. All right, that we were gonna see the parents get together to search, but that the barrier was gonna shut them down. And we said we kind of cheated on this one because we said barrier could be meaning physically, like they can't leave the planet, or could be institutionally, right? Like they're not allowed to. Um, we called out an old Republic connected issue, X-wing pilots, and we said probably Carson Tiva. And then the last one, which was our little out there, a little bit more out there on the fringes of theory, was a lightsaber user, making a cameo. So I'm not gonna lie, we did pretty good. We did
Did pretty good.
yeah, we did
I mean,
pretty
full
decent.
disclosure, we do have the script, so I don't want people to freak out.
Exactly. Yes, we paid quite a bit for those, but hey, what's a few $1,000s to bring you, entertaining content?
Yeah, that's fine.
So right, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. And so again, right off the bat, right, we kind of get one of them, one from our predictions, which is, sort of the parents getting together, right, of all the kids that went missing, freaking out, obviously, about how they need to find the kids, and then the security droids, right, coming in and telling them, which by the way, I really liked the mural here. I think we get a better look. Uh, since last time, do notice that they got that symbol that's gonna come into play, later on. It's right there. I did get some Princess Leia vibes, with the dress here. Um, but and this is probably just me with the long, brown hair, but this kind of looks like an Anakin-ish, turned around type of thing. I don't know. I'm probably reading more into it than I should. But anyway, so the security droids come in, right, and tell them like, "Yep, your kids went out into space," and they're like, "All right, well, let's go, right? We gotta go get them." And they're like, "Yeah, no, the administrator says you guys can't leave. You can't go past the barrier," and you know that sucks. And so everybody's kind of freaking out, like, "What do you mean? What are we doing? Contact the New Republic," like somebody does, suggest, right? So I'm like, okay, they're aware, at least, I guess, of the existence of the New Republic, right? So it just keeps adding on a little
Well,
bit of.
are we sure it's the New Republic we know?
Exactly. That's exactly what I
So,
was gonna say. We don't.
like
They
what?
know.
Yeah, they know some stuff,
They,
but they don't know some stuff, which we learn
exactly.
a little bit
Yeah,
further
as
into
we
the
learned,
episode.
right? And then so here, pretty much. Which, by the way, I just want to start off saying that this episode is freaking gorgeous. All right, like visually, so freaking pretty. There's
They
so much.
they use the volume so well in this
Yes.
episode.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, and then they gave us some, nice CG, with some of the vehicles. Like I felt that we saw a lot more vehicle or ship detail this time around than even in the previous episode when they get to Tortuga, which is here, right? So basically, we are greeted with the kids, escaping, right, with the help of Jod, And Jod actually almost right away, right, proves us right again, and yet wrong at the same time. Because let me see if I can catch the scene here. Yeah, here we go. So I still think he looks funky doing it, like just a little bit off, just not, it's not quite Jedi-ish.
Like he's pushing too hard.
Exactly, right? Like he has seen a Jedi do it, and he's like, oh, in my mind, this is what I have to look like, to match that type of thing, like an imitator almost. And so, but music wise, they do play the Force, right? So I'm like, I guess it's official. Um, and so right here, he does this. So he pulls an Obi-Wan on A New Hope, and he sends, that sound, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I want to take a consensus here. Do we call this a Jedi mind trick?
I would say it's not really.
I'm more inclined to say not quite, because in my mind it was always like him knocking something like in the distance, right? To like
That's kind of how I see it.
to like make
That's
that
how I
sound.
thought.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't know, because we again in our prediction we did say basic force push and pull, which he does do, by the way, in the episode, but we said no mind trick. So I don't know. I think
It could be considered a force push,
right.
essentially, because you're using sound waves
Yeah,
with the force to bring that down the hallway to lead them to go the other way.
exactly. That's kind of how I always thought about it. Um, Later on in the episode, because we're jumping up all over, but later on in the episode, he does flick a light switch, right? So I kind of call that a force push, right? I mean, I think that counts. But what I was gonna say is we do see him use the force like right away, right? Like again, like they're really, really laying on thick that he can use the force, right? To a certain degree. Uh, and so anyway, so he gets the kids out. Um, he is questioned. He's like, "Hey, how come you didn't break out before, right? If you could just force pull the key." And he's like, "Well, I didn't have a ship, so why would I leave?" Which I'm like, okay, I kind of take it, but at the same time, who knows? Um, and so he does lead which I thought this was just bad parenting, giving a blaster to Neil. I'm like, bro, please, please don't shoot yourself.
Neil Nation's over.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, please don't. And so he gets them back to the ship, and they're like, hey, what about me, right? SM-33. And he's like, yeah, no, he's just a droid. We're gonna bail. And they're like, no, 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 we're not. The droid saved us. There's no bailing out on SM. If we have to go get him, then we'll all go get him. And he's like, oh, you kids, and it's like, all right, I'll do it. And then he says this thing, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't know why it resonated so much with me, but he said, what's his name again? S-33 what? And they're like, SM-33. And I'm like, dude, thank you. Like every single time we hear a new droid, everybody learns their name like immediately. I'm like, dude, it's a bunch of numbers and letters in a specific order. That takes time. That takes at least a couple of tries. um so I thought it was funny that he actually got it wrong. He's like, I wasn't even hearing you guys. Like, I don't even care that much. Like, what was the droid's name?
He just wants to get out.
Exactly. Yep. He really, really wants to get out, right? So we'll go here a little bit faster. He does go, and pick up SM-33 from the dungeon, meeting up a very good-looking character, by the way, from his former crew. So we do learn that this is the captain we saw on the very first episode, right? When there was a mutiny, which I think, would you call that a surprise? I mean, I thought it was kind of obvious, right? Like
I thought it was pretty. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like when he first makes his appearance, you can see his neck. So you're like, you saw skin tone. You're like, okay, well, it's human. It's not alien. And then you're assuming with the mutiny, and then in prison, it's like, okay, well, that's that guy. So yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious. Some people were speculating it was not, but
yeah, to me it might not be, right? Because we do learn this episode that he does go by a couple of names, right? But still, I didn't feel like I was like, oh my god, like, that's him. Like, no, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, like you said, right? If Brutus is in charge and he's the one leading the mutiny on the other scene, then it kind of does flow that way. So anyway, they do get SM-33 back. They are debating whether to leave him or not, right? But he's like, no, I got a friend that will probably know where Atten is. They have this gorgeous scene in the docks, man. I freaking love this scene because we get to see a bunch of the other ships, including, let me see if I can grab it here. Yes,
I know that's exactly what you're going to.
right here. Yeah.
I really hope that's his ship.
Dude, right? Yeah, same.
I dropped that on my Instagram. Like a lot of people breaking that down, and I'm like, it's gotta be. I mean, like the shape is almost like pinpoint accuracy to it. So
yeah,
if it's not him, it's his cousin.
You can't have a show with pirates and not have him in it.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
That's like the obvious slam dunk. If they don't do it, it's like, who are y'all? Like, you don't know nothing.
And you know what? You did share it on your story, right? Mike, let me see.
Oh, I replied to that so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, this is what this is what we are talking about here. So it looks like it, right? Very much so. So right there, just to point that out. Same here, I'm really, really hoping that it is, right? I think we all are at this point, obviously, but again, it would be such a missed opportunity, if it's not.
My concern is they want them, sprinkle the ship in and call it a day, and I'm like,
exactly.
No.
Yeah, I know that this is it, right? Like, this is all we're gonna get. No, I hear you. But I love this scene. It's a little goofy, because they're tied and they're just like spinning around, but it's also fun. It's a gorgeous scene, with all the ships. And I wanted to point out, let me see, can we see it on this one? Is that it? No. So there's a ship here also that looks the same kind as the one in Rebels. I don't know if you guys remember Commander Sato. He was like the first boss that Hera had. Yeah. And when they first fought Vader, he destroys that ship. That was like their command ship at the time, and it looked exactly like one in the dock. But anyway, SM-33, man, having some of the best scenes in this one, dude. He was just chewing up the scenery when he's like, so you're a Jedi, right? And like questioning him. And I thought it was hilarious because, he kind of stopped to him.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. And so they, you can tell there's some friction there. But then he leaves. And all of a sudden he just comes back. And then he leaves again. Dude, that had me laughing so hard. It was crazy. So SM-33 is stealing the show, man, like for sure. But going forward, they get, again, gorgeous scene, right? They get to this moon where they're gonna meet the supposed friend of Jod, and they get to basically like an observatory, right, with a bunch of like space telescopes and stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a telescope observatory.
That's exactly. Yeah, like I forget what they're
called. And Jod, but also soon to be found out that his name
exactly
is
right
again.
Yeah, to Crimson Jack, right? And so we get this very cool looking cat owl. I'm not entirely sure, what the mixture here is.
It was a freaky night.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say I make no judgment. But here we go. Got a good shot of it. And one thing I did notice, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but her under, garments, like the little bodysuit she's got, it looks very much like the one Yoda had in the prequels. It looks so much like it when I first saw her, because I think she even has the same belt. And if you notice here, it's got the same sort of like what's it called?
The clasp.
Yes, exactly. The same sort of clasp like on the neck.
I thought that was going to be our lightsaber wielder cameo, and there's still time. We may find out that she's a librarian for the Jedi.
Yeah.
I have a theory about this, but I'll let you finish. I'll save it for the very end.
All right. So okay, so they, they finally do say that they are from Atten, and she's like, "Oh, there's no map to that, right?" And they're like, "Well, you just told us you got maps and maps and maps for like the entire galaxy, right?" Like, and she drops a little bit of knowledge, right? So we're piecing some stuff together here. She says your planet, right, was one of many, and it seems like this is it, right? That were hidden, right? But then she says they were almost. I think she said they were all destroyed except for at Atten. I think that's what she said. I've only seen it once, guys. So sorry. I've been meaning to rewatch it, just haven't had the time. Um, and she's like, so it's not easy to like just find it, but since you guys come from there, you guys can give me clues, and I can narrow it down, right? Because I have all this. So, loving here again. A lot. This episode is packed with like graphic references, right? And I know people are already tearing it apart, frame by frame. So I can't wait to see, sort of the download of everything that I know I missed, because there's a lot, on this one. Um, and so anyway, unbeknownst to them, she actually had made contact with the New Republic, right? And they're sending a patrol. But one interesting thing that I do want to bring up is when she asks the kids, "Hey, what's near your planet? What planets are near at Atten?" And they're like, "We don't know." And she's like, "What? They don't teach you like at school?" And they goes like, "Oh yeah, no, they teach us at school. We know about Coruscant, we know about Alderaan." And she's like, "Whoa, Alderaan?" It's like, "Did you guys miss the war?" And she almost says it like comically, right?
Yeah.
Like, "Are you guys for real?" And then they go, "What war?" And I was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what what is going on here, right?"
They're purposely
Um,
being hidden for something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very much so. So again, I'm gonna point back to our little bingo card here, and some connective tissue there with the planets, right? With naming Coruscant the capital and Alderaan, right? Um, not quite right though, right? Because they it seems like they know about them, but not in the context that we know them from, right? So it's kind of interesting. Um, so we get going fast forward. So she does warn them, about Crimson Jack, that he's just gonna turn on them. Um, she tells the little Lobot, Lobot girl, and it's like, hey, you gotta rein him in. He's gonna just double cross you. While all this is going on, though, they do have a couple of X-wings flying around, trying to find them, and so he's trying to convince them. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Let's go. They kind of plant their feet, and they're like, nope, you kind of have to say that you work for us, right? That you're gonna be taking orders from us, otherwise we're not going. He's like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, let's just go. He's like, no, no, seriously, like, you gotta tell us who you are. And Wim is like, yeah, but he's still a Jedi. Like, he's good and all. And then he's like, I never really technically said Jedi. That I was a Jedi. And he's like, what? What do you mean? Like, you can use the Force and stuff. And so there's a little bit there. Again, gorgeous scenes. We get the couple of X-wings.
That's so beautiful right there.
Yeah, they did a great job. Again, visually, no complaints in this episode. Again, there's just so much visually and so many references. I mean, you got the little Peter Pan walk, when they're going against this moon. So much stuff, dude. I'm the ship is growing on me. The ship is growing on me.
Looks like a
their ship.
transport. Like a
Yeah,
transport shuttle is what it looks like.
yeah. But then again, speaking of just bad parenting, he basically puts the kids into the gun turrets, which I thought was like, and he gets Neil to pilot the whole thing.
Yeah.
This was the cutest thing ever. When he's like, me, he's like, yeah, you got it. Just swerve a
Up,
little
down.
bit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The thing that I cracked up on is when he puts him in the gunner
Yeah.
and he goes up, and his first reaction was like spin and start blasting. I'm like, anytime I get into like a go to Disney World and you can do something and like play around with it, that's my ins. I turn into that kid and I'm just spinning around like hitting buttons.
Exactly.
Like, so much fun.
So he puts Wim
Yeah.
he's literally just spinning around, right? And blasting away. Which I'm like, bro, you're like shooting at cops, basically. Like you got kids shooting at cops.
It's attempted murder of a police officer, sir.
Dude, seriously.
But I'm a kid.
Yeah. So again, gorgeous scenes in this episode. They do manage to go into hyperdrive, and then we get here a better look at the X-wings. Getting to I'm blanking out on her name. Sorry. Cat owl lady astronomer.
Kim.
Thank you, Kim. Yes. Do notice this, guys. I did check this out. They don't have the same cannons, right? Top and bottom.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You notice? Yeah. So that caught my eye when this one landed. Also, it seems like it's Blue Squadron. So I'm wondering if Blue Squadron kept going after like Rogue One, right? So there's a story there. I don't think we get a good look at the pilot. So that's him, right? But they don't really zoom into his face or anything. He just kind of said, she says like, you let him get away. And he's like, yeah, well, with the kids on board, we can't just, like shoot at them, right? Like it's too risky. So, again, coming back to our little list here, we did get X-Wings. We didn't get Carson Teva. So, we came pretty close.
That we know of. We didn't see the second pilot.
That's what I was gonna say, but there's still, there's still hope to redeem us because we did not see the second pilot. Exactly. So I'm gonna call it, man. I mean, what is it? 4 out of 5, and pretty spot on. Okay, like
and the fifth one was supposed to be an out there one, so we shot
exactly
for
right.
It, right.
Yeah. We on purposely made it, a little bit out there, with maybe less chance of actually happening. But yeah, so that's kind of the episode. That's kind of what we got yesterday. I know, very very fast. But
do you want to take it back for Chris for his?
One thing is I'm loving the Disney references.
Yes,
SM-33, Smee, Pirate, Peter Pan, right? The little flying little thing that was in the cage,
the pink fuzzball from EO,
Captain EO. That was in Disneyland. And then one thing that's with Neil that I love about him is his personality. It reminds me of Tantor from Tarzan.
Oh, all right.
When he goes, is this water sanitary?
Yeah.
He gives me the same vibe.
I like that. I can see that.
Should I really be doing this? But I'll tag along anyways. So he gives me that vibe. All right. I don't know how many people in the chat, so do not hate me for this. And this is just a thought, right? So at Atten.
Yes.
Is hidden, and that map that Kim showed us had 9 different planets.
Yes,
if you look at, there's 9 planets, a big ring around it, which is the barrier.
Yes, let me see if I can pull it up again. Where are you? I should have made a timestamp for it here. Okay.
Yeah, so there's 9 planets, and I honestly, I don't remember if she said the rest were destroyed, but and then obviously that, to me, that ring around there is signifies that barrier, right? Did anyone play Star Wars Jedi Survivor?
Yep. I never finished it, but yes.
Never finished it? Okay.
Yeah.
There was a planet in the game that was hidden that you couldn't get to. There was no map to get there, right? And they had to fly through a bunch of clouds, like all this crazy stuff to get to that planet. It was called I just had it.
I don't remember the name of it, but
Tanalorr.
Tanalorr. Yep.
What if Tanalorr is one of those 9 planets?
Oh snap!
Okay,
well,
and when those
technically wasn't that planet kind of like broken up too?
It was broken up into several planets too. So if she says they're all destroyed, but one, which is at Atten, and they all have old Republic credits.
Nice.
And the thing is, in the game, is you had to go through all these obstacles to go to this. Actually, it looks like an observatory, and it sends them, and they had to find out. And that's when the clouds appeared in the sky, and they flew towards the sky. Now, when the kids were leaving at Atten, they had to go through it was like greenish clouds and it was like a thunderstorm just to leave.
Yep.
What if we're dealing with the same coordinates as Tanalor as we are at Aten, and they're all within the same 9 planets?
Nice. Boom. I like that. I
That
like
would be a
that.
good tie-in to bring in somebody that we
Dude,
Because,
would
right?
like
because
to see.
Jedi Survivor takes place around the time of Ahsoka, which this also takes place around the same time as Ahsoka.
And she did say, who was it? Was it Neil actually the one? Because she asked, like, what does this barrier look like?
Yeah, and he
And-
describes it.
And he says, like, it looks very cloudy, right? Like, it's like it's you can see it in the clouds. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
And
okay.
in the game, if no one's played it, sorry if I'm spoiling it for you, but there's a scene where the Old Republic show up to that planet and start shooting at it because they were against it. The Jedi Order was against that planet.
Nice.
So what if that is one of the ones who got destroyed out of those 9 that she claims were all destroyed but one?
Perfect. I like that. I like that a lot,
Good
actually.
tie-in there. Yep.
I don't think we're going to get Cal Kestis, but I think we're going to get bits and pieces
Yeah,
of everything to intertwine together to all make sense within the same timeline.
exactly. I like
Because
that.
why else would you be so protective over a planet that
Yeah.
no one has the coordinates or map to get there?
Yep.
And the
Yeah,
only time
yeah.
that's ever happened was in the video game.
Nice.
Yep.
We got Janine in the house saying, hello, nerds. What's going on, Janine? Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Niner says OBP. Hi, Mike. Hi, Pete, says Janine. OBP saying hi to Janine. Still not sure how to post links for people accounts. Check out Jedi Niner Lost Rebel Outpost. Absolutely. Thanks, Pete. Let's see. Jedi Niner cool to know on Lost Rebel Outpost. Gotta figure out those links. I think you're a moderator, OVP, so you should be able to look who it is. Tony
Telling you, you
in
had to
the
be.
house. Hey, Tony. Hey, says Tony and Tanalor. There you go. Nice. I like that. I kind of want to. Let me see. Can I put captions on this thing? And I wanted to see if she says about planets of wonders kept hitting for their protection. Long ago, they were all destroyed except for one. I don't know if you can see that.
And long ago in the video game that took place during the old, the
Oh.
high, there was a High Republic. No, before that,
Yeah, there's a High Republic.
right?
That's
I can't
at the
remember
time of
but
Acolyte.
in the video game, it's even before that.
Nice.
So they go back, they go flashback.
Yeah.
So what she says, long ago, how much, how
Yeah,
long
exactly.
are we talking about?
Exactly. So at Aten.
I
There
love
you
how
go.
she's a mix of like a robotic and CGI.
Yeah.
Whenever she flies, it's CGI. Whenever it's very cool.
Yeah.
Animatronic.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Animatronic. Yeah, dude. I've been loving that. I think that's been my favorite part of this show. Just the back to
Practical.
yeah, exactly. The getting back to the practical effects. Again, and we said it, many times before the show even started. We know it's gonna look great. Like I never have a doubt that Star Wars is gonna look good or not. How good? That's another thing, right? But I always know that it's gonna look good, and I think this episode was very pretty, very very pretty. Love
$136 million well spent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
So-
one thing that I've heard that people like kind of on the fence on it when they first
Uh-huh.
saw the first few episodes and then right off the bat started this one is that they were saying that planet's too clean, that it doesn't look Star Wars. And I'm like,
That's
well,
why.
think about
Dude,
this. It's not technically really a part of the universe that we know. We're getting shown
Mhm.
something that's been hidden away in a kind of an
Exactly.
oasis of beauty.
Exactly. Right.
It's not going to look the way that we're used to it. And then as soon as they get out of there, like, oh, yeah,
We're back
this
to
is
it.
what
Yeah.
we know.
Even the credits were so clean, just
Yeah.
like the
Yes.
planet is. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Absolutely. And it is, I'm trying to get here the scene to your point, but I kind of just feel that, that cleanliness, it just kind of adds to the creepy factor, that the planet has, like look at that. Like it's very, very squarish, very right angles almost, so I agree. It looks very very clean, but I think like you said, right, I think it would make sense like this. They're almost living like in a bubble, right, type of thing. So obviously it would keep, you know, that kind of way. So um, all right, so we've gone on here long enough, and again, we appreciate you, Chris, for coming in,
Oh
chatting
yeah,
with us, man. This
definitely.
it's been an absolute blast. Overdue, if you ask me, but you know how it is. You know, we all run around and stuff. But I do want to thank you for coming in here, letting us know, you know, how you got started, letting us know about your collection. You are always more than welcome. Again, guys, I cannot stress it enough. Go check out Nerd Squadron on Instagram, on YouTube. Check out his videos, his review videos. Again, you know, if you're thinking about making that kind of purchase, you know, with a higher end lightsaber, you owe it to yourself to get all the info you can. And this man is a wealth of information. So make sure to check it out. Let him know that the good general sent you.
Appreciate
Um,
you, dude. Couldn't get
no,
enough of
man.
your ICCC. I was like, okay, I gotta, I'll hop on.
Hey, absolutely, dude. And yeah, you know, we're still trying to work it out. Next year is going to be an interesting year, especially for us here for the channel when it comes to conventions. I had quite a blast. I haven't even talked about it. You know, NostalgiaCon. Just very quickly, I had a blast. It was a great experience. Um, it gave me a little bit more of an insight, you know, of what happens, you know, behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it was good times. It was good to meet, you know, people like the brother Lori. You know, we got to meet him, you know, in person. It was very cool. Excuse me. And we'll talk about more on nostalgia. And I got a ton of videos that I'm sometime I will edit and post them. I did get a quick interview with one of the voice actors from Clone Wars. So and she was very nice too. So we'll be posting that here in the next few days. And for you guys to stay informed, make sure that you are following our friend here, Mike, at the Dad Vader over on Instagram, posting like crazy and always super funny stuff. Also follow the channels Instagram general.kenobis.bunker. Check us over on Facebook, General Kenobi's Bunker, all one word. Also, we are on TikTok. While there's still a TikTok, I guess, at General underscore Kenobi's underscore bunker. So we'll see how long that lasts. Um, who knows? I don't know. I'm like, I can see it go either way. Um, and we are also finally on threads at general.kenobis.bunker. Also, please do not forget to hit that like button here on the stream and go check out Chris over on the links that are here in the description right now. Again, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button, and go check out all his gorgeous videos. Let me just catch up here with the very last of the chat. So Tony says, denialists eat them all. Oh, that'd be nice. Hungry hippos. I like that. OBP says, I don't get the clean, dirty issue. Look at Naboo and Camino. They're not all grimy. Very true. Very true. Antonio saying, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Nah, man, don't worry, but we are kind of wrapping up here. OBP says, and what we saw of all the nano planets places in Star Wars have to be grimy. It's true. It's true. But it is you know, I would say mostly grimy place the galaxy is. Good night, friends, says Janine. Appreciate Janine. Thank you so much for joining. Great stream, everybody, says our brother Archer from Nerd Affiliated. And with that, we are gonna bid you good night, Bunker Bunch. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Go check out Nerd Squadron. Great guy, great reviews. Great editor, man. Seriously. Yeah, if you ever want to edit a job, let me know. And
I got
so,
you.
you know,
I'll edit your videos.
yeah, I just need to film them first. That's the problem. So once again, man, thank you so much for coming in here into the bunker, chatting with us. You are more than welcome at any time. I hope to see you next year. You know, at least at a couple of these cons. You know, so we get to
Japan, bro.
Yeah, dude, Japan. Exactly. That
I'll
was
be
the
there.
first one. Yeah,
I'll be there,
first one, and then
I already got my room booked for ICCC. So
perfect. Yeah,
and
same
doing Rebel
here.
Scum.
Oh, hey,
So I'm
you
ready
are
to go.
coming down to
Yep.
Railscom. There you go. So there you go, guys. If you're going to the shows, make sure that you stop by, say hi. And again, I just got to tell you that, you know, the lady boy is way better in person. So, yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.